Now the next topic in the chapter, arithmetic progressions, is sum of n terms of an AP. So we've already found out how do we find out the nth term of an AP, correct? Now we need to find out how do we find the sum of n terms of an AP. The formula over here says n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. The various things have the same notations where n is number of terms, okay, a is the first term, right, and d here is the common difference, correct? Okay, now if you see over here, if we write this formula in a way like S is equal to n by 2 into this 2a can be written as a plus n minus 1 into d. Now you see over here the term a plus n minus 1 into d, this is equal to an or the nth term, correct? So this formula can also be written like this. S is equal to n by 2 into a plus an, where an is the last term or the where an is the the an is equal to the nth term. So let's say that we have to find out the sum of the 20th term, and we know the first and the 20th term. Then we can find out the sum very easily. Like I'll tell you, how do we find the sum of the first 20 positive integers? Okay, where do positive integers start from? From 1, correct? So the sum of first 20 positive integers. Okay, so how do we do this? First of all, we know that the positive integers start from 1 and the 20th would be 20, correct? So we know the first, that is 1, we know the 20th, that is 20, and we know the value of n, that is again 20. So S would be equal to 20 by 2, correct, into 1 plus 20. Okay, so this sum over here will be equal to 10 into 21, which is equal to 210, right? Now if you try this with this formula, the result would still be the same. It is n by 2, I'll just solve it over here, I don't need much space for that. N by 2 is again 20 upon 2 into 2a, that is 2 into 1, so it is equal to 2, plus n minus 1 into d. N minus 1 is 19 into d. d is again 1, correct? So 19 into 1. Did you get it? Because the positive integers will be like this, right? 1, 2, 3 and so on to 20. We have to find the sum of this, correct? So the first number is 1, the first term is 1, the common difference is also 1, the last term is 20, which we've used in this, but now we're not using the last term but the basic formula, that is n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. So n by 2 is 20 by 2 plus 2a, that is 2 into 1, plus n minus 1, that is 19 into 1, that is equal to d, correct? So this over here becomes 20 by 2 into 19 plus 2, that is equal to 21, and which is again equal to 10 into 21, which is equal to 210. So if you see over here, both of these give the same result, and that is what I want to prove. And we've also found out the sum of the first 20 positive integers, and this is the way to do it. Now you know the formulas for finding out the sums, and these questions over here will cover basically the basic types of all the questions in the sum of an AP, correct? Now we'll move on to these questions. First of all, I'll just erase the board from here. Okay, now moving on to the first question over here. The first question says, find the sum of the first 22 terms of the AP 8, 3, 20, minus 2 and so on. So we have to find the sum of the first 22 terms, correct? Now I'll write down the solution over here. I'll start the solution from here. Now find the sum of the first 22 terms. So first of all, we have S is equal to n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. Now why would I use this formula? Because I don't know the last term of this AP or the 22nd term of an AP. I don't know that, correct? So I'll be using this formula instead, correct? So over here, sum is equal to n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. Now what all do we need? N over here is, we know that it is equal to 22. So we know n is equal to 22, correct? A here is equal to 8, correct? N again is 22 and d over here, what is the value of d? D is equal to minus 5, correct? Because the first term is 8, the second term is 3. So 3 minus 8 is d, 3 minus 8 is minus 5, correct? So d over here is minus 5. Now we have all the values, we can find out the sum. So I'll continue the sum over here. Now sum is equal to n by 2, that is 22 by 2 into 2 into a, that is 16, correct, plus n minus 1, that is 21 into d, that is equal to minus 5, correct? Okay, now this over here, what does this become? This is equal to 22 by 2 is 11 into 16 minus 105, correct? Right? Now this further becomes 11 into minus 89. Now again, I have already done the calculations for this, though they are not very difficult. This is equal to minus 979. So the sum of the first 22 terms of this AP would be minus 979. Now it is very obvious that this sum is coming out to be in minus. Why? Because the AP would be something like this, correct? 8, 3, minus 2, minus 7, minus 12, correct? The AP would be going like this, right? And minus 17 and then minus 22. So the value in negative is increasing. So the sum of the first 22 terms is obviously going to be negative. So that is what we found out. It is equal to minus 997. Okay, so this is like the basic question for finding the sum of an AP, correct? So this is the very basic form of the question. Now moving on to the next question, what do we have? The sum of the first 14 terms of an AP is 1050 and its first term is 10. Find its 20th term. So now over here we are given the first term of an AP, correct? And we are given the sum of the first 14 terms of an AP, correct? So if we say over here that n is equal to 14, okay, a here is equal to 10, that is what is given, right? The first term is 10 and d we don't know, correct? And s over here is equal to 1050. Now if you see over here in this, if we put on all the values of s, a and n, we can find the value of d, correct? That is a common difference. Now if we know the value of d and we know the value of a, using these two we can find out the 20th term also by the formula for a n or the nth term, that is equal to a plus n minus 1 into d. For that we will need the value of d first of all, correct? So d can be found out with this formula. If we put the sum over here and a over here and n over here, we will find out the value of d. Okay, so let's do that now. So the sum of the first 14 terms is given to be 1050. So 1050 is equal to n by 2, that is 14 by 2, correct, into 2a, a here is equal to, it is given to be, the first term is 10, so 2 into a is 20, correct, plus n minus 1, n minus 1 is 14 minus 1, that is equal to 13 into d, correct. This is where we've reached, right? Now from here what do we get is 1050 is equal to 7 into 20 plus 13d, correct, right? Now from here what do we get is 1050 is equal to 140 plus 91d, correct. Now we have 910 is equal to 91d, and d over here is equal to 910 upon 91, which is equal to 10. So the common difference over here is equal to 10. Now we know the common difference also. The d over here we found out is equal to 10. Now if you see over here, what all do we need now? Now we need to find out the 20th term, correct? Now we know that an is equal to a plus n minus 1 into d, right? This is what is asked, find its 20th term. So we have to find a20, correct? A20 will be equal to, what is a? A over here is equal to 10 plus n minus 1. Now the value of n would change because we have now found the 20th term. So the value of n over here will come out to be equal to 20, correct? So the value of n would be 20. So 20 minus 1 is equal to 19, and d here is equal to 10, correct? Now using this we can find out the value of a20. So a20 would be equal to 10 plus 190, which is equal to 200. So the 20th term of the AP would be equal to 200. Now this is again the other type of the question we can do. We are given, we just had one term missing, right? We just had d missing. We found out d, and using that d we can find out any term of that AP or sum of any n terms of that AP. Is that clear? Now just, I hope you've noted down this question. If you've not, pause the video. I am erasing this again. So the next we have is how many terms of an AP is given to be 24, 21, 18 must be taken so that the sum is 78. Okay. So now what is given is that we are given the sum of an AP equal to 78, and we are given the first three terms of an AP. We need to find out how many terms do we have to add so that the sum is 78. So what all is given over here? We have the n over here we have to find out. A here is given to be 24, correct? D here is equal to 21 minus 24, that is equal to minus 3, and sum is equal to 78, correct? Again, if you see over here, we given everything, just n is missing, so we have to find out the value of n for this. So S is equal to, same way I'll just write over here for this question, 78 is equal to n by 2, n is missing, right? N by 2 into 2a, so 2 into a is 2 into 24 plus n minus 1 into d. So n minus 1 is equal to, it should remain n minus 1 only, into d, d is equal to minus 3. Okay, now we need to solve this equation and find out the value of n, that is it. Now if you see over here, there will be two values of n because n square is going to come. I'll explain it to you later how. This is equal to 78 is equal to n by 2 into 48 plus, minus 3n plus 3, correct? Now from here, if I take this 2 this side, what will I get is 156 is equal to 48n minus 3n square plus 3n, right? Now I'll just put these two together first. So this is 156 is equal to 51n minus 3n square. Now taking this 3n square and 51n to the side, so we get 3n square minus 51n plus 156 is equal to 0. Correct? So this is where we've reached. Now if you see over here, whole of this equation is divisible by 3. So this can be further reduced into n square minus 17n plus 52 equal to 0. Correct? Now we have a quadratic equation in the terms of n over here, right? Now we can find we can use this equation and we can find out the values of n. So how do we do this? We again do it by factorization. You all know how to solve quadratic equations. We've already done that. So I'll be using factorization to solve this one, and the factorization would be n square minus 13n minus 4n plus 52 is equal to 0. So n into n minus 13, right, minus 4 into n minus 13 is equal to 0, and this would be n minus 4 into n minus 13, which is equal to 0, and n over here is either equal to 4 or equal to 13. Correct? So the sum equal to 78 can be reached by either 4 terms or 13 terms. Now you must be wondering, how is this possible? Now if you see over here, the first term is 22 and the terms then are decreasing, right? So at some point of time the terms will start getting negative, right? This is going to be like this, 24, 21, 18, the next term will be 15, the next term will be 12, 9, 6, 3, 0, then minus 3, minus 6, minus 9, right? Now this way the terms will now start to cancel these terms in the sum, right? So at some point what will happen is that the total sum would be negative now, right? So the total sum would be, at some time what will happen is all the other terms would be cancelled, but again the first 4 terms will remain, like this over here. Now I have written the first 13 terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now if you see over here, the sum of these 13 terms is also equal to 78. Why? Because this 12 cancels 12, 9 cancels 9, 6 cancels 6, 3 cancels 3, 0 is already 0. So actually the sum is only of the first 4 terms, which is equal to the sum of the 13 terms. So n over here is equal to 14 or equal to 13. So now these 3 questions broadly cover all the type of questions you can come across in the sum of an AP. Now again, what is left in this chapter is statement questions. Again, I'll give an example of 1 or 2 statement questions after this. But again, I'm telling you, statement questions is only up to you, because you have to know what do you have to do in those questions. You have to apply logic in that. You will not get the same questions everywhere. So you need to apply logic. Do not cram those questions. Always and always try to find what is the logic behind them, and then try to solve questions. Practice as many statement questions as you can, because that is the only thing that is going to help you in the examination. So moving on to the statement questions, we'll do them in the next lecture.